We're back to the Beach Lifestyle Radio Show on the Beach Lifestyle Radio Network. And you can find out information on me at TotalTutor.net. And you can find information on GJ Reynolds at simplyg.com and so many other avenues as well. And I want to welcome the program, the founder of Beach Lifestyle, co-host GJ Reynolds. GJ, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Neil. Another great day, another great show, and I'm blessed.
Well, and this is going to be absolutely, we're both blessed to know each other, and I'm telling you, what I've learned from you is amazing. But when I'm going to have to set a challenge for myself after we have heard so much about the Dale Brown Challenge and how you got involved in this. And I remember Dale talking on stage in Orlando about it, and it was interesting and about what happened. But I thought, let's talk about the whole story of this, because you've transformed your health, your body, to a point where at one point you were just basically just working, which you still do, but yet exercise wasn't the big thing, was it, GJ?
It was or wasn't?
Was not, before Dale.
Well, no, it definitely wasn't. And ironically, I played competitive basketball, and being a former military sergeant, you'd think it was a regular routine for me. And it became a situation where I just got, basically fat and lazy. And it just happened over time. It wasn't something like one day I woke up and, here I am. It was definitely a process. So I definitely was out of shape. And then, Dale had challenged Ryan Blair to a 365-day workout challenge, and Ryan challenged me, and it ends up being the catalyst to the Body by Body 90-day challenge. And, I did it for 120 straight days and fell asleep one night in a hotel room and never worked out, and I was defeated. So I was defeated for, about 2 years. I just never enjoyed working out. And I was at a point where I was excuse-driven. So Dale definitely had some major impact on challenging me.
Absolutely, G. And I think it's a situation where when we know we are at our weakest, we sometimes are able to get stronger. And we see from what happened with you and knowing your body was at a certain point and telling us the story the first time you and Dale connected again and you saw his workout regimen, you said yourself, I could do this. And yet tell us the story that Dale talked about. And I know Dale will talk about it when he comes on the show with us as well, about the first time you worked out with Dale Brown.
Well, I forget the exact date, the exact timeline, but it was, in September, Lita and I went down to see Coach and also go to the LSU football game. And so in the morning, he had a speech, and so he said, hey, how about you take me down there? And what I really realized is he was asking me to be his chauffeur. So we drive him down to New Orleans from Baton Rouge. And along the way, Alita asked him, Coach, what prompts you to work out every day and be in such good shape? And, at the time, he was 75 years old. And he goes, several things. One is, in order to have a sound mind, you have to have a sound body. In order to have a sound body, you need to have a sound spirit. And so it's really the trilogy. All three go together. So in order to have a strong mind, spirit, and body, it all starts with the body. And if the body's strong, the mind can be strong. And the mind can be strong without the body, but you really it's a lot more challenging. So, he said, I work out every single day, and I do it, and because I can be much stronger mentally, physically, and spiritually. And he goes, GJ, when we get back to my house, I'll show you exactly where you stand. And so we get back to his house, and he sets up his equipment. And so the very first exercise, I'm literally pushing with all my might, and I can barely move the bar. And I'm like, and I know I'm puffing, and I look at it, and I sit back, and I go, Coach, there's something wrong with the equipment. He goes, there's nothing wrong with it. It's you. And then my ego is like, yeah, right. smelt me. So I huffed and puffed, and Alita actually took pictures, and coaches actually said that I looked like a big, blowfish, and I was just full of air, and there was a picture of it just said it, and I'm all red. Pushing, I did 2 repetitions barely. And I said, okay, coach, you're proving your point. I know I'm out of shape. And he said, no, we're not done. We have 5 more exercises. So we did 6 different exercises, upper body, lower body, and the most I could do was 6 repetitions. And then coach proceeded to sit down, does 2 sets of every exercise, and he does 20 repetitions. I'm like, and he did it like it was piece of cake. I go, oh my goodness. So I go, okay, you prove your point. You're in much better shape than me. And I said, I will be in the gym on Monday. That was Saturday. Sunday we travel. Monday I'm in the gym. And so I worked out. On Tuesday he calls me and said, hey, did you work out yesterday? I go, yes. He goes, good job. And then he goes, have you worked out today? I said, no. He said, well, are you going to work out? I said, no. You said you were going to work out every single day. I said, no, coach. I said, I was going to get in the gym, start working out regularly. You said every day, which I never said. Of course, he's pushing me. And what I didn't know at the time is that Alita had said, coach, he's not going to go to the gym. But if you tell him he needs to go to the gym, he will. So they were conspiring behind my back to get me to go. And here's the other thing. For 9 months, we were members of a very nice health club, and my wife went regularly, 3 to 5 times a week, every single day, which, so from January to September, I gave her every excuse in the book not to work out, why I didn't want to work out, I was too busy, too this, too that, and every excuse. And sometimes I didn't do anything but sit there in front of the TV. And for 9 months. So it took me 9 months before I showed up. And I went to the gym one time just to check it out, just to see, yeah, it's a pretty cool place. One day I might work out here. But that's how it all started.
And we know, GJ, that working out's not your favorite thing to do. And to talk to GJ while he's working out is a challenge. Another challenge in itself, because GJ it's something he doesn't enjoy. But he saw that challenge that Dale Brown set and said, you know what? I want you to keep working out with me. When did you finally see that, you know what, I could compete with Dale and I could be in part of this challenge just like Ryan Blair was, but I'm not going to give up?
Well, there was a lot of different ups and downs, and to set what we actually agreed upon. We agreed to work out 1 hour a day and to complete 2 miles a day. You could walk it, you could run it, you could jog it. Whatever you did, you had to get the 2 miles in. And so that was the arrangement. He originally wanted to do 3 miles. I said, there's no way. And the previous challenge was work out an hour and 1 mile a day. And I knew how hard that was because with daily activities, a busy life, traveling, and, if you get sick or, any of the dynamics that happen in life, it can be challenging. And if you miss one day, you're done. One day, you're done. Doesn't matter what the reason is, you're done. And then you have to call the other person and say, this is a boy calling a man. And I realized after having to do that to Ryan, with Ryan and Coach, a couple years earlier, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. So that was one of my motivations. That wasn't going to happen again. 2, I was really ready, and I just needed a little push. And what's good, the reason I share that, too, is that sometimes you just need a little push by somebody that loves and cares about you. Even though you may not like the push, you really know it's good for you. So I was ready for the push. And then the other component is I realized I was being a false leader. And what I mean by that is that here I am, an owner in a very successful health and wellness company. And even though I used the products regularly and they did work, but because I was doing other things that weren't healthy, and eating tons of ice cream and eating a lot of other stuff that I shouldn't have been eating, and not working out, doing things that I should have been doing. I was living a lie. And so I had to get back to the basics. And the good news is, if I hadn't been on our products, I probably would have ballooned over 200 pounds again. And, it would have been ugly. And so I, luckily wasn't too far gone. And so finally I just had to say, okay, I'm ready to do this. I will do this. And I just took it at 90-day increments. I just focused on the 90 days. Here's what I'm going to do over the next 90 days. So the first week was just to get acclimated to the gym, get acclimated to working out, get acclimated to feeling better. And one of the things that kept me going in the gym was the soreness and the pain I was going to have to go through when I first started working out. And I was very blessed to be one of the first people to test one of our new products, and it was called Go, which you use before you worked out, and Pro after you worked out. And the Go gave you the extra boost for your workout, and the Pro reduced the lactic acid that the body builds up from working out, which creates the soreness. It flushes that out. And I was so blessed to have that at that time that the workout transformation wasn't nearly as bad as far as the soreness. And so that set up the initial challenge, and that's where it started kicking off. So I know you asked me another question, and I'm going to kick it back to you.
No, that's not a problem. I mean, I'm really interested in hearing about this. When Dale knew that you said you accepted the challenge, he probably thought you'd last 5 days, right? I'm sure he's told you that before, right?
Here's what he's told me. He said he didn't think I'd last 6 weeks.
Okay.
And the other reason why he set the bar high is that he knew he wouldn't have to do it. And in 45 years, no one had ever gone 1 year straight. And he challenged tons in terms of players and coaches, and every area he's challenging somebody. And no one had ever made it to a year. Now, I never knew that. And then him and Ryan Blair had made it to 180 days, and they tied. No one had ever beat Coach in the 45 years. Only 2 people had ever tied him, Ryan Blair and Ricky Blanton, who was one of his star players of his 1986 Final Four team. And Ricky was an underachiever. And basically, if he said you can't do it, he will show you that he could. And even though he may not have all the talent, he had the will and he had the mindset, and he'd find a way. And I've never met Ricky. I look forward to meeting Ricky one day, and I feel like we have some similar mindset, although he's a much better athlete. And so, ends up, he had all these different people challenge him, and they never did it. So he said, I'll sit high enough 6 weeks. And then, that was what he thought. Well, we got into 6 weeks, and then he's like, well, I doubt if he'll go 2 more months. And so he kept saying it. But what I saw along the way, his coach kept getting harder and harder in his diet, in the words they used with me and the motivations. And sometimes they were like, he was actually taunting me. and so he actually was pulling out all the stops that actually worked for me versus working against me. And he definitely underestimated my will and my determination. Although he thought I had it, he wasn't quite sure did I really have it. And so he was definitely a coach along the way. And then through that, I had other people around me that, were coaches as well and inspiring me. And, from my trainers, Steve Tangen and, Jerome Davis, and Jerome's, a 6-time world champion sprinter, and Steve has trained numerous pro athletes and Heisman Trophy winners, and he had a pretty good track record in training people. And then I had other friends and family members that were actually cheering me on as well. And so it became sort of a cause.
Right.
And then from the cause, it turned, okay, if I quit today, I'm quitting on myself, and then I'm quitting on all of the people that I know I'm going to have impact with. And those were some of the things that kept me going along the way.
And we're going to find out how far GJ went and who won, Dale or GJ. As far as we know, we don't know yet. You might be able to check it out by kind of Googling some of this challenge, but I'm looking forward to part 2 because part 2, Dale's going to be on with us. And I'm sure I'm going to have some fun questions to ask Dale about you, G. So look out. But where can we find information on you, GJ? Purchase your book and learn more about you.
SimplyG.com. SimplyG.com.
All right. Well, fantastic, G. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Thanks, Neil.
You're welcome. You're listening to the Beach Lifestyle Radio Show on the Beach Lifestyle Radio Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.